Okay, I think we're recording here. Um, Hi, my name is Gary Wigdahl. I'm a certified flight instructor, instrument instructor, multi-engine instructor, and this is one of my cheat sheets. I make all these cheat sheets because I instruct in a lot of different airplanes, and I can't remember all of the V speeds. Now, V speeds are very basic uh, things that every pilot has to know. And on the left of this cheat sheet, you'll see it says V speed is given in knots. Um, Pretty much only the older airplanes are given in miles per hour. Newer ones are given in knots. The V speeds on the chart occur pretty much, hopefully, in the order in which you will encounter them during the profile of a normal flight. For example, the first two here are VR, and in this case, VR1 is a short field takeoff, rotation speed of 51 knots, and VR2 or normal is 55 knots. And pretty much any 172, the Cessna 172 you're going to fly, will have a rotation speed of about 50 knots. VX is the best angle of climb. It gains you more altitude faster, and in this case it says it's 60 knots. And you'll see over in the diagram at the right that that's reflected right here at 60 knots. And here's your normal rotation speed, which occurs somewhere on this well diagrammed runway here. That's sort of a joke. Um, anyway, um, also the Vy is the best rate of climb, so you gain the most distance for your airspeed and get you further down the road faster as you're climbing to altitude. And then a cruise climb, 75 to 85, you'll notice is kind of like if you pick something in between, guess what? You'll be back at 80. Although 85 is acceptable, and the reason that it's better with a little higher airspeed is you sacrifice a little bit of rate of climb, but you get better cooling for the engine, and it just doesn't make that much difference as far as getting to altitude and getting further down the road. The VA is a maneuvering speed. This is not indicated on the airspeed indicator. This is something that's usually placarded on the dashboard of the airplane. In this case, it says 97 knots. If you encounter turbulent air or any kind of abrupt conditions such as that, you want to make sure you're at VA or below, in this case 97 knots or slower, to prevent damage to the aircraft. VNO is the top of the green arc and bottom of the yellow, bottom of the yellow arc, and it's 129 in this case. Once you go into the yellow arc, that's a very cautious area where only smooth control movements are acceptable and also smooth air. Never exceed speed, VNE is 163, that's your red line on the airplane. You just don't go there. Best glide speed is 65 knots clean. You want to keep that in mind in case your engine fails. The very first thing you do in the event of an engine failure, of course, is maintain aircraft control, and then you establish your best glide speed of 65 knots and decide where you're going to land the airplane. VFE is flaps down. Now, a lot of the newer airplanes will say that below 110 knots you can lower 10 degrees of flaps, but only 10 degrees of flaps. And you can't lower any more until you are at 85 or below. 85 in this case would be considered top of the white arc. White arc is the flap operating range. So below 110 you can put down 10 degrees of flaps, like when you start your turn to base. And once you get below 85 you can put down another notch of flaps. This is a fixed gear airplane, so we're not going to worry about what would be the VLE speed, landing gear extension speed. Normal landing. Two airspeeds to keep in mind, and here you see them over to the right. 70 knots clean, right there. The clean means no flaps, gear down. And 60 knots means full flaps. We also refer to that as the dirty configuration, means gear down, flaps down. That is to say, in the landing configuration. And 1.3 VSO in this case is a meaningful airspeed at 60 knots in this case, let me say that VSO is the bottom of the white arc, just VSO, no 1.3. Bottom of the white arc. That's your power off stalling speed, gear down, flaps down. And you take 1/3 of that and add it to it, you end up with 1.3 VSO. Now that's approximate, but it's close enough because most of you guys, sometimes including me too, can't hold your airspeed close enough that it matters anyway. So if we go over to the diagram at the right, the airspeeds on the left are, I hope, are fairly accurate per the pilot operating handbook. Over here, I try to pick average velocities so that they're easy to see on the airspeed indicator. I would rather try to hold 60 knots than 59 or 61. I mean, come on, give me a break. Go for the big white line on the airspeed indicator. Rotate to 55, climb at 60 for best angle of climb, climb at 80 for best rate of climb, and then your cruise climb at 80. And off you go. And once you come into the pattern and you're on downwind, you can lower 10 degrees of flaps below 110. And once you turn base and get below 85, you can lower more flaps, and you should. Roll out on final. You could be in the clean configuration. If you have a high crosswind, you want to land a little faster, so clean configuration would be good. You'd be at 70 knots. Always add 1/2 the gust factor to your final approach airspeeds. So if the wind is 15 gusting to 25, that's a 10 knot gust factor, add an extra 5 knots. 60 knots is full flaps, and that's usually for a short field or soft field landing. Or maybe you just want to turn off early, get stopped, that's good. That's me right there. That's my phone number and my email. Give me a call. I'm just giving you a quick once over here. I carry about 10 of these with me because, as I said, I've been over the last year, been instructing in 10 different airplanes, and when I go to get into a different airplane, I just whip one of these out of my pocket and go, oh yeah, rotate at 55, 60, 80, okay, good. Normal, below 110, 85, and then 70, 60, 70, 60. I got it. Okay, let's go fly. And if you got any questions, I'm available. Email me or whatever. Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Gary Wigdahl, and that's it. Thank you.